Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Guild Wars 1 Let's Play. This episode, you're going to actually be taking a break from the main story to get another hero. I totally forgot about this hero because I never use her, for reasons. But we're going to use her because she's from Cantha. So, Linro, an Imperial Guardsman Cormier met during his trip to Cantha, sent a missive about an assassin named Zenmai. Apparently, the Spear Marshal has asked Linro to keep his eyes open for any potential recruits. If you ask me, he's just trying to pawn his problems off on us. He saw the assassin in Kaining Center, apparently looking suspicious. But we can't afford to be picky, so I need you to go out and check out the assassin. She might come in handy if things get any uglier around here. Alright, go back to Kaining. We picked up Oleus in a very similar fashion. A couple episodes back, or not a couple episodes back, in the previous series. So this is kind of the factions equivalent. This was essentially your reward for owning factions as well at the release of Nightfall. If you owned Prophecies, you got access to Oleus, who is a Necro, and if you owned factions, you got access to Zenmai. Assassin heroes used to be really bad. They've since fixed them, but assassins have a mechanic where they use skills in order, and assassins heroes used to not actually use their skills in the proper order. They have fixed them, so we will actually be using her. The real question is, who am I going to axe? And why is it probably going to be Telcora? I don't know. I like E-Surge Mesmers, but Telcor has just not been pulling her weight recently. So, but anyway, blessings of the Emperors be upon you, friend. My duty is to inspect the goods sold in Kaining Center Market. I must watch for both illegal and counterfeit goods. The Emperor is quite serious about making sure those who shop here are swindled, hoodwinked, or otherwise taking advantage of us. You're one of Cormier's Sun Spears, aren't you? She mentioned you. Some of you might come to Cantha. She wanted me to watch for any potential recruits for your cause. An assassin by the name of Zenmai recently got off the boat. Rumor has it she spent some time soul searching in Xingje Monastery. You should be able to catch up with her in Budok Byway, but be warned she's not exactly a warm person. Alright, let's go find us Zenmai. I don't actually remember this quest because I've done this, unlike Oleus, who I do on every character because the Necromancer hero is important. I've done this quest exactly once, so I have no clue what the actual quest is, so it should be fun. And I think at the end of the episode, we might actually, like, build her, like, do a build for her on camera just to kind of go through the process. I think that might be fun. That is the plan, at least. Alright, let's see where she is. Looks like she is down here. Maybe we go from the other place. Alright, yeah, let's go from the other place. I apologize if you can hear me kind of tapping my Magic the Gathering cards in the background. I'm fidgeting a little bit. Alright, let's keep on going. I think she's up this way, it looks like. Oh, there's a lot of Jade Brotherhood over there. Interesting. I don't remember seeing them. This is y'all didn't actually see this because this is from when I made the run to Kaining Center, but this is like the area in between. It's got a lot of safe areas. I actually kind of like that about the city. That's something I kind of noticed when I started playing way back in the day, is that the city actually has a surprising amount of safe areas, even in like the explorable areas, which I think is a really cool feature because it makes it still kind of feel like the city, like there's still dangerous things around, and there's still a lot of enemies, but it's still also like a place where people live. It's not overrun with monsters 24/7 kind of thing. Here's like a little center over here. Here's a dude from Krita, it looks like. I don't know what he's doing here. He died. Weird. Alright. Here's this Zenmai. Daggers are a girl's best friend. Sunspear is sorry, never heard of you. However, I see you it seems you are some use in a fight. Amo Zing, a masterless assassin. I moved from employer to employer like the wind. Unfortunately, my most recent employer was kidnapped by my former comrades, the Ampha. Oh, she used to be a member of the Ampha. Along with several other civilians from Canning Center. They will force those poor souls to drink from their corrupted chalice, turning them into mindless, afflicted monsters. I know the location of their hideout in the Undercity. If you can face the danger, I would have you stand by my side. Okay. Looks like we're going to the Undercity then. Which I actually am not... I don't remember how you get to the Undercity in this zone. So, interesting. Get to see a little bit more of the city as we go through. Some alleyways with people in it. I'm kind of excited to use the Assassin Henchman, because I've literally never used one. Because, like I said, for years they were broken. They didn't work properly, and they only swapped them relatively recently. Like, I think it was post-Guild... It might have even been post-Guild Wars 2 when they finally fixed the Assassin. Like, I know that's not recent, but, like, you know, in terms of this game, if it happened kind of, like, post-Guild Wars 2 release, I'd consider that pretty recent, you know? Even if, like, technically that means it happened, you know, not that long ago. Which way we go? The Undercity. It looks like we need to go down, so I think we need to go around this way. So yeah, it should be fun. Because by that time, I've kind of, you know, fallen into my, you know, my preferred team comps. And especially when I'm playing this game in my own, free time or my own desires. Not only am I basically only doing elite areas, so I'm only doing the end game, but even if I was to go through and do missions, I'd be doing them either on characters that are already, like, you know, have most of the heroes they want, or if I was to even make a new character, I would beeline for, like, my team setup, my standard team setup, which is a triple Mesmer, triple Necro Rit. Sometimes I would use like one Elementalist or something because the third Mesmer can take a little bit to get. I use like a single Elementalist or something in that comp. This will be fun. I do feel a little bit bad about we're probably going to end up kicking Talcora and the fact that she's not leveled yet, because that was kind of one of the side goals I wanted to work on while we were like going through here, is making sure all the heroes were leveled up, so whenever we eventually do want to use them in later campaigns, they're nice and leveled. This is a different part of the Undercity as well. It's a different part that we haven't seen before. So that's pretty cool. Looks like it's over this way. Or wait, this might actually be part that we've seen. These Kappa under the bridge look familiar. Make sure we have our blast the ritualist down real quick. We might swap the build up soon. Like I said, I do kind of like showing off different builds. My only kind of apprehension with that is like, this is like, casters in general are generally not super unique. I kind of regret not picking melees, but on the other hand, like, I don't really play casters that much, so for me this is something different. But maybe it's not as good of a watching experience, but I don't know. We can try another build, but the problem with a lot of the other ritualist builds is a lot of the other ritualist builds tend to either be healers, which is not like necessarily the best watching experience, or they're just kind of sit around and wait for your like heroes to do stuff. So not necessarily the most interested in just waiting around for my heroes to do stuff for us. Or not my hero, excuse me, not heroes. Waiting around for your spirits to auto attack stuff for you, which is like, I don't know. I'd rather be using the skills. And I think this is like the most unique and most fun ritualist skill, so we're to keep using it. If I don't make it out alive, who will make kitty-eared headbands for the masses? Think of the people. Oh, such villainy address the Amphod to this. Perhaps they're just mad. Who will make kitty-ear bands? Go Canthal, my friends said. Such amazing sights and the food to die for. The last time I listened to their advice. I love this. I've gotten out of worse situations, like that time I made a sweater with no arms. Right, maybe that way isn't quite as bad. At last, the ceremony cannot begin without the most important players. Zenmai, my dear, you've kept me waiting a long time, too long, but it's an auspicious day that brings us together again. Did you truly think you could escape? Zenmai, have you come to rescue me from these madmen? If you have platinum, if you get me a hair, I'll make it 3 if you can get it done yesterday. I shall free you from the Amphod, then free you of the coin you owe me for my last job. Do not mistake that. Dealing with Lal is a bonus. I do that for free. Such bile, such anger. You're as cold as ever, Zenmai. Maybe if you weren't so frigid, you'd move a little bit faster. You see, you're already too late for one. To pass the time we were waiting for you, we had some fun, some laughs, and some drinks from the chalice of corruption, just like the old times before you left us, remember? The past is a shadow that lurks behind us all, waiting to embrace you like the ground rushing up as you fall. I never forget the past, and today I shall settle its debts. A poets now, are we? You play at many things, Zenmai. First you run from your past like a mole that cannot face the sun. Now you come before me playing the part of a hero. Well, well, let your blades speak and we shall know the truth from your heart. To be afflicted, I don't think that I'd like that much to say. There's a cure, right? I think I made a wrong turn at Aurora Glade. That's a mission from the original game. What do we have to do now? Stop the Amphod from creating new afflicted soldiers. Oh, here they are. Who will make... Ooh, what the heck are these things? Herald of Nightmares and Arm of Insanity. Oh, these are demons from, that campaign. Yeah, we'll learn more about it later. Who will make kitty ear headbands for the masses? My man has... My man was a couple thousand years ahead of his time. My blades have pierced the shuriken surely as they cut down these creatures, these demons, though through my steel I could feel the same evil. Could be no coincidence. There's something greater at work here. Comes some spirits who my answers lying alone. Besides, I can't collect my pay from a dead afflicted, can I? Oh, he turned into an afflicted. So she can't get her pay anymore. So I guess she's coming to Nightfall with us. I know this is a little confusing and like it is kind of cutting a little bit into the Nightfall story, but I hope, you know, we just get the value of the side story of her, you know, meeting this assassin and Cantha doing its thing, and like, you know, I want to use her for the factions campaign because she's like a factions hero. I don't know. Let me just dot the I on your friend's temporary Sunspear visa and be complete there. The document will allow free access to our ports and services. Have a nice day. Got Zenmai as a hero. Let's go back to Kining. Back to the right campaign. Let's add Zenmai. Let's add the crew back. Not Tapcore, excuse me. Actually, I guess I could swap Talcora and Ogden, because Ogden's already max leveled. Talcora can then just load my healer build. Right, he was the UA. Yeah, and I just need to go buy her a superior healing headpiece real quick. Alright, so let's look at assassins. Let's take off all the cruddy skills they gave her to begin with. Not that they're actually all that bad, but... Let's see, what do we want? I think this is... The stat spread's probably alright. Maybe we can down critical a little bit to up attack. Do something like that. Actually, we want 3 shadow, because then we can go 12-12. What was I looking for? Ooh, dagger. So let's grab some assassin runes real quick. This is how the system works. I don't think I've ever actually shown this off, so let's grab one of those. As well as a minor crit. And then we need to grab a superior healing and a minor... Ooh, they don't have a minor divine. That's all one of the problems with this game now. It can be a little hard to get everything you want due to, you know, availability. But whatever, we got the healing. So essentially how this works, especially for hero armor, is you just get these runes and you put them in here. So see, it makes this Istani Sculpt design of superior healing prayers. And you can get essentially there's 2 different upgrades. There's ones that go before and ones that go after. So there's the upgrades that say of, those go after, and there's ones that don't say that, they go before. Let me see if I have... Does anybody have any prefixes? I don't think any of you actually have prefixes. No, that would be on my other characters. So, let me just show you real quick. So like the survivor ones, and like any of these here, they would go before this. So it'd be like, you know, survivor Xingje head wrap of superior channeling. Actually, you know what? Let's get some. Sure, they're not that expensive. Let's just get a set so I can show you. So let's see how it adds the prefix there. And there's some of these that can go on any item, and some of these that go on only some items. Actually, no, excuse me. They all can go on any item, but see how they get these prefix ones? Some of them give different stats depending on what piece it's put on. That's a Paragon. Relatively cool armor. And then heroes have a thing where they have these headpieces here, and putting one of these attribute increasing ones, like this superior domination thing, also triggers the +1 stacking from the Dom magic. And how this works is there's essentially a +3, a +2, a +1. Helmets give an extra +1. But then there's a +3 rune, a +2 rune, and a +1 rune. Only one of those runes will trigger, so you can't run like a +3, a +2, a +1, and then the helmet +1 and get what would that be? 8? You can't get +8 from that. You'd only get +4. You get the 1 from the helmet and the 3 from the highest. So what a lot of people do is that they either... But there's a penalty for having a lot of 3s. A lot of 3s will give you -75 health. So what a lot of people do is they put a +3 on their main stat, and then they'll do +1s for the other stats, and then they'll get... Where is it here? This thing called a Vigor rune here. This is a non-stacking rune, so you can't have more than one of these, but this gives you a chunk of that HP back. In days of old, they were like the main expensive runes. Yeah, these are like 29. So +50 for these. Nowadays, I don't know. There might be another 1 or 2 that are more expensive, but in general, these are the most expensive. So you can have one of these on to give you 50 HP back, negating most of the -75. So what a lot of people will do is, like I said, is have a +1 from the helmet, and then put a +3 on it, and then have a +1 for any extra stats they care about. And then the other things you can fill out with either like armor or HP or mana. There's a couple different like styles. There's ones that are class specific, so you can only use runes that are of your class or generic. So just because I have a monk using mesmer skills does not mean I can put a mesmer rune on that monk. It has to be an actual monk. And then these top ones here are prefix runes that are unique to each class that do different things. So there's a pretty good amount of depth to it, but at the end of the day, what it normally ends up is get your +3s, and then, yeah. Actually, is there anything here I would want? I probably should have checked this. No, so none of these are really good for me on this build. But some of these like synergize really well, like plus 10 while affected by a shout, echo, or chant. We'll probably use this whenever we get to the Paragon because this is just a good value. And there's some others. But anyway, let's put... Oh, I can show you here. Yeah, so see how this says item attribute plus 1? This is why it's important to put the runes on the helmets for heroes, is because that plus 1 buff doesn't trigger until you put a rune on it that lets it know which attribute you want. That's also why you want to put the important attribute on there. So the plus 1 there, and then we get the plus 1 to crit strikes here for her. Alright, let's do her build real quick. So I'm thinking she needs an ability to get in and for mobility. So I think a shadow step is probably good. So death charge is just kind of like the generic good shadow step. And we're going to want her to use daggers. So she'll need a dagger skill line. This is what the heroes used to not use well, was the dagger skill line, but now they do. So I'm just going to go with literally the exact same one we had on my Sin in the previous series, just because these are just like generically some of the best ones. This one causes some bleeding, but as you see, it has a really short recharge, so that's the advantage of it. This is, again, really low recharge, decent damage bonus, and again, really low recharge, but it does AoE damage. So this is essentially just a way to spam out some nice AoE damage. And then we're going to want this to give her a higher attack speed. This is one of the best ways to get extra attack speed, especially for heroes. Extra attack speed is really nice for melee damage dealers, and this is probably one of the most consistent ways to do it. If you're a player character, there are a couple other skills that are good, but as a hero, she really doesn't have access to those. Now we have 3 more slots we can put stuff in. Where is... Here it is. This skill is really good for energy management. Just more crit chance, and whenever you crit, you get energy back. Oh, also, that is the assassin's default skill, or default thing here, where they get energy back based on the amount of crit they have. So, and they have an extra crit chance. So this actually gives energy on top of that. So this means whenever she crits now, she'll get 3 energy back, so she can continue to spam her skills. And then we have 2 slots. I'm thinking like interrupts, or like maybe a way to get rid of blinds on herself. I'm wondering if there's like a skill that can maybe help me get rid of blinds on her. I think there's a signet that does it. I'm trying to remember where it is. But yeah, she can be blinded, and that's kind of like a pretty negative for her, and we don't necessarily have the best condition removal in this team. So if she can pack her own condition removal, that would be good. I think it's... I might not have it unlocked. That might be the problem. I am part assassin, so I can go check. But for interrupts, there are some dagger skills, but I actually know there's a really cheap warrior one. Yeah, down here, this one. This is AoE interrupt. It doesn't do damage, really. But it's an AoE interrupt that is in this no attribute area, so it means I don't have to invest any skills into it. So that's nice. So let's look for this signet. Let's see if I can find it. It might not be from Cantha. Here it is. Signet of Malice. For each condition suffered by target foe, you lose 1 condition. How good is that? So we have... how many conditions do we have in this team? So we have weakness here, so that's 1. She'll be doing bleed, so that's 2. Burning would be 3, and possible stuff like cracked armor would be 4. So it wouldn't be unlikely for there to be at least 2 on the enemy. So at 2, she probably can use this to self-remove her blind from herself. So let's grab that skill. So yeah, so now she should have some energy skills and attack increases, as well as more damage from crit. She has skills she can spam. She has an interrupt. She has a way to jump in, and now she has condition removal for herself. This looks like it'll be all right. It's a pretty standard template. Like, this is actually really close to what a player build would be. Like, if you remember my build from the previous series, like, it was basically this build with these two skills being different, and I ran a slightly different elite setup. But yeah, let's give it a try. That should be fun. And I hope you enjoyed that kind of like little insight, or not insight, but you know, me actually like doing some of the stuff that maybe I would have done off camera, or like, you know, talking about some of the game's features. But anyway, I want to thank you for coming out. Next episode, we're going to be back on the standard path doing the Arborstone mission. But anyway, that'll do it for me. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.